Several speculate that Her Majesty's Secret Service was full of mysterious personas. Some argue that Shakespeare was also deeply entrenched with this Secret Service and working closely with one of the Queen's main esoteric advisors, Dr. John Dee. Evidence is mounting that together, Dee and Shakespeare crafted an elaborate cryptographic masterpiece through sonnets and plays that was meant to be discovered once the Dark Ages had long passed.
One of the most curious and underrepresented characters of the whole Renaissance is this character, Dr. John Dee, who was, one can safely say, the leading mathematician of the time, the leading astrologer, the leading cryptographer. He was a spy for Her Majesty on Her Majesty's Secret Service. His code number when he was spying for her in Europe was 007. He's the person that is working with Shakespeare to bring this wonderful knowledge of unifying the poetry and the math, all balancing all the opposites so that you're back into unity consciousness. That's true alchemy. That's what Dee's goal was. He was dealing in the occult, and he was dealing in trying to communicate with angels, and you just don't do that 400 years ago. And yet he was under the radar trying to do that because he truly believed that he could bring about a reformation of the world. He felt all the schisms between Catholicism and Protestantism and Judaism and Islam and all the world's major religions connecting, they should be one. They should be this unity of the divine. And that was his true ultimate purpose. And he tried to bring about this healing through contact with higher beings. That was his means. He thought, if I could just speak to the angels, I can help the world heal. Since he was not clairvoyant or clairaudient himself, he needed a medium, which in those days was called a scryer. So this guy shows up on his doorstep, named Edward Kelly, and he's a good scryer. He immediately starts getting results, looking into some sort of an obsidian mirror or a crystal ball. We don't know for sure what it was. And he impresses Dee right away because he can see the angels. And so begins about a 10-year period where they are scrying to the angels. So Dee believes he's talking with Uriel, Gabriel, Michael, and Raphael, 4 archangels. And from the work that I've been able to glean from the codes that he's left, it's absolutely clear that he was. Because they give codes that are utterly unfailing in their brilliance and their accuracy and their precision is mind-boggling. It's just so beautiful, and there's no other explanation than that this was given by divine providence to Dee through angelic beings. In the middle of their entire roller coaster ride of experimentation with talking to angels, something is downloaded to Dee called the Enochian tables. It's a grid of 4 quadrants that was given to John Dee, a massive, massive download in which Kelly is seeing flames 60 foot high with the letters, and he'd name a letter and Dee would write it down and name another letter and write it down. They told him the absolute grid to put it into, which is 624 characters, and it ends up being this massive thing that had then been co-opted through the centuries later by Aleister Crowley, the Golden Dawn, Israel Regardie, these names that are in the esoteric modern era. It totally takes Dee out of the picture. They step in and say, oh, Dee and Kelly didn't know what they were talking about. Yeah, that was interesting. We'll take it from here, fellas. And they change it, and they give you all kinds of added information, and they turn the Enochian tables into little pyramids and colors, and it's completely different.
There are different versions of the Enochian tables. The 20th century magician Anton LaVey used a kind of reformed or adapted Enochian language in one of his books, and there are different permutations, just as there are different permutations of the Tree of Life symbolism in Kabbalah.